5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team back. OG's turn to ban. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Slightly different draft with the Nature's Prophet first pick for Bambo, and now we see OG once again banning out the Enigma. Firstly, I've just had it clarified to me that Kid is in fact Bambo, so I will try and keep that in mind for the rest of the game. And Gogc is not Gogc, is Gok. But
10 seconds remaining.
With that being said, Enigma, Tiny, and Lycanthrope, all of which have been banned out. Jen, Nagasaran, and Tinker taken out from the opposite end. Tinker, of course, we saw No-Tail absolutely dominating with that. He played very well in the laning stage as well, despite a lot of aggression coming through. They weren't really able to kill him until a stray invisibility rune allowed them to find him near the Ancients. And Cancel, despite having a pretty decent start towards the game, he just wasn't able to translate that moving forward on his Dragon Knight. Now, Rubik, Elder Titan, early picks to come through from OG. Elder Titan was seen in the hands of Kingdra before, but now let's see what OG wants to do with it instead. Kingdra go for the straight up Lifestealer Tusk combination, so we know what Gork and Biryu are going to be playing. I think it's Biryu on the Tusk. I think so. Anyway, we'll find out very soon. But now, moving forward, OG.
10 seconds remaining.
I've seen the Lifestealer being picked up. They can expect Kingdra to end up banning out the Razor. Of course, OG will have the first pick going into the second phase, courtesy of them having the second pick initially, which means that Kingdra is going to have the pressure on them to be the ones banning out Razor, and OG doesn't really need to worry about that ban particularly much. Now, that being said, if they themselves don't want to pick it and they want to go for something else that can counter out the Lifestealer, then that is obviously something that they might want to consider banning out. Even though Gork is probably going to be on the Lifestealer, Razor can be played over towards the offlane, over towards the mid lane in a very, very difficult spot for the OG side. Now, I would be very surprised if Kingdra... Actually, you know what? Kingdra is in a very difficult place because... You either ban the Gyrocopter or you ban the Razor, so it's pick your poison day for Kingdra, and they have to decide what exactly they want to try and risk their lives with. Of course, if they do lose here, they will not be out of the tournament. They will have to face off one more match versus the winner of the loser bracket game that should be going down right now as well. I'm not 100% sure what the score is on that, but if you want to check that out over, it might be on epicenter_N1. Might be. The thing is that the channels have been switching around quite a bit because of the fact that we of course have a lot of different we have a lot of different matches going on from a lot of different regions at the same time, so I'm not 100% sure if it's on N1. It should be though. However, all that being said, back to this game, back to what we have in our hands. OG, the respect ban comes out for Cancel. He really did have a phenomenal early game, especially in the laning stage. Considering you put Cancel up against a Tinker, Dragon Knight versus Tinker, that's so difficult to deal with. OG though, they're gonna have the Gyrocopter and the Razor both still in their pool, and honestly, I would like to see them go for both. Elder Titan plus Razor can be a difficult lane in unto itself. Rubik plus Gyrocopter is bloody well annoying anyway. We've seen how that goes. And pick a strong mid hero for No-Tail, and you know you've got yourself a couple of lanes that, if not one, then you definitely have the potential to trade out evenly, much more so than you did in the previous game where Bambo's Nature's Prophet went all over the map trying to hunt you down. Now, OG, Rubik and ET, not too much of their cards have been revealed so far. If they don't want to go for Rezo's pick right now, they can still do that, and exactly why they go for the Puck. Now, I'd like to see S4 on it for obvious reasons, but we'll have to wait to see how exactly it will be pairing up. It's decent versus the Lifestealer. Even if you get the open wounds out on the Puck, then you can always, try and use your ARP to get away in the offlane, assuming it's going to be an offlane Puck. But it's also okay versus the Dusk, because again, sure, Snowball can stun you up, but the shards can't really block you out for the same reason as the Lifestealer. Open wounds not being too effective versus you either. Now, with that being said, Kingdra, in response, can go for something slightly greedier on their own offlane. Should they choose to do so, the Razor is still in the pool, surprisingly enough, for Bambo if they want to pick that up for themselves. And after that, pair it up with a Storm Spirit down mid, and you've got yourself a game. Storm Spirit mostly because I just want to see a Storm Spirit, not because it's particularly good. Storm plus Lifestealer is always a very fun combination to see, but they go for their support first line. I hear that's been buffed slightly as well in the recent patch. Of course, his Mana Drain now does slow down units as well when it is applicable on them, when it is applied on them, rather, not applicable.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG? Still have pretty much anything they want for resolution. That's the thing. That's the really big worrisome thing for me, that Kingdra doesn't really seem to be prioritizing him enough, despite a few of the bans being targeted towards him, in particular the Terrorblade and the Chaos Knight, not the Seos Knight. Chaos Knight would be, but again, not his comfort picks. And that Gyrocopter, he's been playing it so many times recently, and remember, OG hasn't lost a single game in qualifiers since DSE occurred, and they've played Gyrocopter, and I'd like to say at least 70% of those games.
Dire team pick.
Weaver.
Okay. It's good versus the Lifestealer, so I get why you go for it, kind of, but you're also versus a Lion who has Blink Hexes and Blink Stuns and suddenly a Storm Spirit before, which I was just saying because I wanted to see some Infest Bombs to come through. Now it doesn't look too bad. You can actually farm up an Orchid very quickly to try and take down the Weaver. And obviously, Storm's just one of those classic mid-heroes that you always like to see a player as skilled as Cancel on. He can just try and ball out of control, very literally. Kingdra. With a minute on the clock, they're pressed for time to say the least. So again, I'm thinking of more ways to deal with the Weaver, but the problem is most of the things that are occurring to me are firstly unorthodox and out of the metagame. Secondly, they're support heroes and you already have your two support heroes. Now, in the middle lane, as far as that goes, first thing that comes to mind, obviously, with a built-in silence would be the Puck, but Puck is already picked by S4, more likely than not S4 anyway. Second thing that comes to mind is a Storm Spirit, but no, they go for the Night Stalker. It's got a built-in silence, it's decent enough over there, and it's a hero that's much more prioritized over in the Southeast Asian scene again, but Is this really what they want to go for? Okay, Storm Spirit ban comes through. OG's afraid of it. OG's got my logic behind them. Night Stalker though. How many heroes are there that he can really kill easily? How many heroes are there that he can hunt down easily? The silence is really nice against the Weaver, don't get me wrong. But Rubik, okay fine, you can get Rubik. Elder Titan, he's very tanky. He's got a lot of speed once he brings the Astral Spirit back towards him. Puck, evasive as anything else. Incredibly evasive hero. Weaver, same for the Weaver. It's not that easy to get the silence on him, especially once he gets the Lincoln Sphere out. Honestly, wouldn't even have minded seeing a Doom on the 3 position to come through now that I think about it. But Kingdra, they've got some time to decide their last ban before they have to summon out Cancel's pick for him. They're definitely not doing too hot in terms of damage on their team though, so maybe they have to prioritize. Okay, I was going to say maybe they have to prioritize something damage dealing and go for a Viper, but they end up banning it out surprisingly enough. Now Viper, it's a funky build, but Viper can actually go for an Orchid too. It's not that bad on him. It gives you a bit of extra damage. It gives you a bit of extra attack speed as well. The mana regeneration is very nice, and it can build into a Blood Thorn later on, which is quite good for scaling purposes. However, they ban it out instead, and with 5 seconds now left on the clock, they're going to end up going for the Shadow Fiend. And it's a hero that I thought of, but I didn't think we'd be seeing it actually coming through. OG now, they have not very much time to deal with this either, so they're going to have to stick to their game plan, stick to their guns, and just hope that the Shadow Fiend isn't able to get a quick Yule Scepter and start shooting down the Weaver left, right, and center. Of course, there is a possibility that Shadow Fiend does so well that he doesn't need to care about Weaver too much, especially if he's going for the defense. Ooh. We'll talk about that in a second, especially if he's going for the... Yes, it's a Resolution Templar Assassin. I am so happy. I am so happy right now. Resolution TA versus Cancel Shadow Fiend going down mid. None of the cogs shenanigans. Straight up TA versus Shadow Fiend. This is going to be such a fun matchup to cast over. I'm so happy about this matchup. Especially because remember this isn't a classic 1v1 where Resolution should just dominate. This is where Cancel will have so much help coming in the form of Beryu and Jabs, and this is where Lifestealer being a strong solo laner will be very fun to watch because Gore can be left alone. Resolution needs to be careful. There isn't any classic counter towards the Refraction, which is a good thing going in their favor. However, Resolution can also very quickly turn things around onto the Shadow Fiend. Remember, there's still an Elder Titan in the mix who can do a lot in terms of rotating down towards that mid lane, and all eyes should be on this mid matchup. All eyes should be on the Elder Titan in particular, because he will decide whether or not Resolution wins or loses this. At the same time, I'm very excited to see how exactly Cancel will be dealing with this, because like I said in the previous game, Cancel, one of the more pub kind of players, but the best thing about the pub kind of players is their laning, mechanics, is the kind of shenanigans they pull in the lane. It's not something that you'd see very often in a pro game, except for from a few very particular players, and well, Cancel's definitely one of them, and he's going to be bringing that to the table, and I'm excited to see how exactly he's going to be laying it all out. Beryu on the Tusk, as expected. And Bambo's got a lot of work to do from this Night Stalker. The daddy himself will be playing up the bug. And fly.
30 seconds to battle.
And again, to those of you who don't know this, but Resolution, I mentioned this before as well, but since we've got a bit more time, there seems to be no action going on, and we do have a pause. Resolution is one of the most famed CIS mid players, potentially I would even like to say of all time. It goes back to the point where Resolution's talent was first spotted out by Dendi, and this is back when Dendi was complete god mode Dendi. This is back when Dendi was considered best player in the world, along with Ferrari 430 potentially. Dendi actually played a 1 versus 1 against him at one of the star ladders that used to take place in Kiev, not in China as they do now, back in Kiev. Now Dendi, straight up after that matchup, just came out and said, this guy's got so much potential, this guy can do so much. And back then Rezo was just a kid. TI7 was where Rezo showed up once again. Chappie wasn't able to play for Empire, so Resolution ended up standing in for them. He was initially meant to be talent, which was why he had the visa in the first place. Resolution was able to make sure, as a one position player, he was able to make sure that they were... I think they went out 8th. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know that they did knock out EG, who is definitely one of the more favored teams in that tournament. He is an absolute G when it comes to the mid lane, and I'm so excited to see this. Now, obviously, at the same time, Cancel's been famous for so long for being such an individually skilled player who hasn't really been able to get into a top tier team. So Cancel's got something to prove as well, and he definitely can bring the show and bring the fight to Rezo. So this is really going to be a small little narrative, small little storyline that's going on while all of this goes through. S4 will be caught out, orbing forward aggressively, so he's going to have to suffer a lot more right clicks because of that. Biryu's got the Orb of Venom to continue slowing him down. Unfortunately for him, that means he can't go for the boots. And that means that S4 will just very quickly back off, realizing that the creeps are coming through very, very close to him. Unfortunately for S4, though, those creeps are not going to remain close to him, as Bambo will divert them away. Tentacles on him. And middle lane will be that dual lane. Fly helping out versus Cancel. It won't be the Elder Titan. Instead, Cancel will be forced to fight up against Fly. And what is this happening? Cancel actually going in. This could be big if they get the shard trap out. If they can block him in as well, Fly's dead, and he gives over so many souls that they can maybe even turn around to do more damage onto Resolution. That's what they're looking to do, but Resolution's getting aggressive. He should return this kill. Fairy Fire comes through. Attack is missed up the hill. Cancel starting off so strong. Fly gets punished. This is what I'm talking about. Cancel, even having a healing stomp to his name, will be able to bring himself back up. Easily done by him. That Fairy Fire really coming into play. He wouldn't have died anyway, but still nice over there. Resolution pulls out that refraction. They're re-engaging over here. Cancel's gonna go down though, and this could be 2. Never mind. Cancel with 5 HP has to be taken down by Jerax, who comes through with a double. Great rotation from him, and like I said, man, these supports, they are going to be what decide the rate of this game in the middle lane, and the middle lane will decide what exactly is going to be happening throughout. Nice juke from Big Daddy No-Tail himself. Moved slightly to the side and makes the line think that he's moving forward, but immediately backtracks it out. Nicely done over there. No-Tail, he's been left to the off lane, while we do see S4 over towards the safe lane fighting off the Night Stalker. While Fly will secure this rune for his Templar Assassin should she want it. Resolution, though, is fighting up against Biryu. They've got quite a bit of damage, and if Resolution continues to be slowed down, they've got the kill. He gets too aggressive. He doesn't recognize how much damage Cancel brings to the table and kills back and forth down in the mid lane. How else would we want this matchup? Cancel versus Rezo could not get more action-packed. On top lane, No-Tail. Oh man, actually forget about top lane, back to the mid lane. Cancel. Thought they were going in on him. Fly definitely showed himself off. Is reducing some of that damage with the Fade Bolt. Is there any aggression onto the top lane? Jerax is there to back up Daddy himself. But at the end of it all, Jerax will just be having a bit of extra damage delivered to himself. Oh dear, I should have been continuing to watch the middle lane. Resolution does not have his refraction. Cancel does not have mana, and that's why Resolution is feeling so safe in staying over here, solving up as well. No bottle, that's not the build anymore now, is it? Aquila is there to continue to regenerate his mana though, and Fly, deaths be damned, he is going to stay in this location. I will have to say the same for Jerax, because now he's going, oh my god, look at the damage. That's a problem when you only have 3 armor, and that's 3 with the +2 from the tier 1 tower's aura. That's something that a lot of people sometimes forget about. Rubik plops down the ward. And on this bottom lane is going to be S4. Trying to harass out Bambo, but Bambo's just going to be perfectly fine. He's got so much regen. Actually, never mind. He's down to 1 tango. He had 10 earlier on, and in 4 minutes, S4 has forced him to use all of them. That's impressive. and surprising to say the least. Jabs gets the stun out onto the Weaver, but No-Tail's going to continue pursuing forward. He does have the Geminate attack very soon, but without the Shikuchi to follow through, they're going to turn around to Gorg C. They've got the stun. They need to get a few more right clicks, but Gorg, not Gorg C, Gork. My bad. My bad. Gork will be fine, courtesy of his natural tank ability, but only fine temporarily. He turns around, he's trying to get a bit more damage. Biryu is here to trap No-Tail into the trees. No-Tail will have Geminate attack, not Geminate attack. Shikuchi soon enough. Be careful, No-Tail. They've got the target on him, and he goes the wrong way. He's forced in because of the shards. Great positioning of them from Biryu. So well played that No-Tail has to actually go underneath the eyes of the tower, which will just shoot it straight down, even giving them the chance to snowball onto him. Very well played over there. Bambo now has the bottle up for himself, claritying up his cancel down in the middle lane. His last hits very far behind resolution, so where I did hype up his potential over here, most of Cancel's action comes through so far via, okay, never mind, resolution has got his, oh dear, they're going to be able to catch them both out in this situation. Brings him back, lands him onto Biryu, and one more right click will do the trick. Cancel goes down. Biryu could be caught out as well. There's no lift for another 15 seconds. That's one of the big problems of telekinesis. Such a long cooldown on a spell, man, it's ridiculous. Especially considering that it is mostly just a straight up stun and very little else. Jabs is caught out. Aggression from the Weaver. Look at the damage, and that damage is enough. Last tick of damage comes through from the bugs, and they're able to finish him off. 4-4 OG. Kill score is even, but net worth should be heavily in their favor, and indeed it is. Resolution in the lead, and Ancients are being stacked up for another day, for a rainy day. Cancel is hearing it pitter-patter down on his roofs, but the pitter-patter will stop as Fly will be the ray of sunshine. His death will give him hope. Cancel. 3 raises to do the trick, while Big Daddy No-Tail continues up on the top lane. Gork trying to TP away. So much space, so much damage, and Biryu wants to respond, but the response is weak. Kind of like my Twitter apology. Hey, Elder Titan, hexed up, will be pursued up as well. And well, it seems like Bambo's looking for blood and almost gets the shard block over there. Silence comes through. That's a long silence. Remember, it's nighttime. There should be enough time to be able to get the kill on him, but immediately after it just comes off, they can't get the stun. No-Tail's barely out of vision, and Stomp will prevent Biryu from TPing away. No-Tail will shut him down. S4. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have made the joke about Twitter either, should I have? I am cracking under the pressure. Dear God, this is so frustrating casting like this. Like, I forgot to turn my phone's notifications off. The pause gives me enough time to do just that, so my phone can stop bloody well going off the chain with Twitter. Brilliant, finally. Thank God. Dumb mistake of me, again. Theme for today. Okay, so pause comes through. Who's it from? Okay, it was a pause from Jabs' disconnection. They're ready to go again. They'll make the call, and well, seems like OG. I give them big props for how they've done in the top lane. Look at Jabs' levels. Look at Jabs' farm. 0 last hit, 0 denies, 500 net worth, 7 minutes in. That is a sad, sad line. No boots, nothing at all. Jabs is level 2.5. He hasn't even been getting bounty runes. That's how poor he is. And now Gorg C is being pursued up as well. He's level 6. Look at how hard Jerax hits. 261 damage? Additional on top of the initial 57? That is preposterous. My apologies for that. Just a second. I need to clear my throat out. Okay, back to it. Jabs finally been given a little bit more space down towards the middle lane. And he will be able to shut down this wave pretty easily. That's pretty much all he can shut down though, unfortunately, right now. Jab's very, very far behind. And it's no consequence of his own fault. What can a Lion really even do versus an Elder Titan and a Weaver combination? No tail. All in the meanwhile will be able to force back Gork for a little while longer. And well, Gork can't really get anything done over here. Resolution goes down in the meanwhile, mid lane, and that's where their hope lies as well. Cancel's managed to keep himself not neck to neck, but fairly close behind Resolution. 3,700 net worth. 9 minutes isn't too bad. Gork being caught out. A few more right clicks and he should be going down. Magic Stick will not save you now. Phase boots around and the Stomp will almost catch him, but the dodge comes through. Infest into a creep and will regain some of his HP in doing so as well. Big Daddy No-Tail now feeling a little bit more cautious. He doesn't have mana to be able to use both the Shikuchi and a time lapse. Night Stalker moving forward. S4 could have been caught out over there. Jarax as well is smoked out with Flying. I have to say, actually, all of the supports have been suffering except for what it seems like Fly, because of the amount of experience he was able to leech down in the middle lane. Jarax, level 3, almost level 4, but level 3 down at 10 minutes. He's going to be able to get the level 4 soon enough, as soon as, oh my god, how much damage does that give you? How many units has he been hitting? That's ridiculous. 200 extra damage. And Jarax is up to level 4.5. Now, Shadow Fiend is doing very well as far as levels go, and as far as net worth goes too, now that he is up on top. And well, he's looking to farm up all of the TA stats as well. He's rooted up. Oh no, Cancel's being brought down, already down to 300 points of HP, and he needs to back himself off before someone manages to snipe him. S4 takes down a tower with the puck. Blink Dagger money is available if he wants to pick that up from the side shop, but instead we'll TP back, refresh up his health and mana pools while he does so. Not going for the early Veil of Discord. Instead, he will prioritize a little bit more of an initiating build. He said that they've got enough damage in the hands of Templar Assassin, who is now very close towards the Desolator, just about 1,400 gold away. This secondary ancient camp was farmed up earlier on. I'm not sure by who it was farmed. I didn't actually catch that out. There was some action going on, more likely than not. Biryu, nicely done, snowballing out of the coil. Will unfortunately block himself in, though. Biryu has got backup in the form of a stun from jabs that catches out too, but there's nothing that he can really do. Blink forward. S4 gets one more right click in, and that's all that is needed. Cancel. Sends back the raise, flies away. Which raise is it? This is the this is the medium range one, isn't it? Oh no, it's a long range one. Never mind. All in the meanwhile, No-Tail will take down a tier 1. Very similar to how S4 took down a tier 1 on the bottom lane, just by making sure that they have the appropriate vision to know that these heroes are clumping around in mid. But hold that thought, S4. He's being pinged out. He's been spotted out as well. They could be looking to hunt. Nighttime has begun. And, well, the Weaver will be looking to do the same. Goes on the hunt, goes aggressively, but is blocked out by the Ice Shard. Is stunned up as well. There comes through even more. And now, Shadow Fiend, Dream coiled up, will be backing off soon. He doesn't have the HP to stick around. Maybe they can try and shrine up. Actually, no shrine either. Cancel. We'll go back to farming. Fly. He is a rich support compared to everyone else, at least as far as experience goes. Lion has actually scratched that. Lion's managed to catch up somehow or the other, but Gork is going to be caught out. He doesn't have anything. He's going for the Radiance, and, well, he's being pursued up. This Radiance is so far away. It's 2200 gold in towards the Sacred Relic, but if he goes down over here, No-Tail can put such a massive dent in his progress. One more right-click, time-lapse back, and No-Tail understands his hero, understands how far he can go, and it doesn't even matter that he dies over there. No-Tail's death does not matter anywhere near as much as the fact that Gork now is going to be waiting so much longer for his Radiance. Now, unfortunately, that isn't applicable very soon after when the Rubik goes down. Now, it's very much in the favor of Kingdra. And again, the back and forth for the top net worth will be a competition between Templar Assassin and the Shadow Fiend.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Middle lane, No-Tail throws out the bugs. And jabs, well, just those can push him back. They have to be so afraid when their vision is all clustered around the Radiant side jungle, because that means they don't really have any control over their own side of the map, and who can really blame them with how things have been going? They must have thought that they want to get more aggressive while nighttime is going on, but they just aren't able to capitalize. Resolution looks so confident, randomly walks into the jungle. They're going to be fighting up as well. Moving forward, there comes the Walrus Punch out onto the Puck. Puck won't be going down just quite yet. Finally takes a fall. Biryu's the one to do the job. Gork, though, caught out inside the trees, and Resolution gets a triple in the meanwhile. The only trade-off being Puck, and, well, Roshan will soon follow up. Oh. And as I say that, I got distracted for a second, and it looks like cancel. Will kill off Jerax, but the trade is there. Fly was there to back up his teammate. Aegis will go down. Resolution to pick it up, unsurprisingly so, has now got the money for the Blink Dagger as well. We were getting very, very far back, making sure that Biryu can't really get away because of that snowball whatsoever. Right click missed uphill. I'm not even sure how that was uphill. Didn't seem like he'd managed to climb up the stairs just quite yet, but 16 minute comes around, and that means Bambo is going to be much, much slower. Gork's their target, though. He still is getting closer and closer towards the relic, but immediately afterwards they back off. Nighttime being used means that the Weaver can't really suffer that silence anymore. Fly is still hovering around the bottom lane, getting his farm up, making sure they're utilizing as much of the resources available to them as possible. Cancel slowly. He was doing a good job earlier on in keeping up with farm of Resolution, but now Resolution's getting a bit carried away after that triple kill came through. He's got his Blink Dagger as well now. Will just continue on trying to fight through. Can he... What can he get done, though? What can he get done? Vision not great from the Radiant side, but they should be able to understand where to go, and the where is pointed over towards poor Gork again, so close towards his Sacred Relic. He just wants to be able to purchase it up, even sending out the courier preemptively. 17 minutes in, Gork wants to buy a TP scroll and get out. They're signaling towards where he must have gone, though. And in the meanwhile, tier 2 will fall. And remember, this is Gork trying to build up his relic, not even his radiance, not even his full radiance. They don't have a way to cancel his teleportation scroll, so he can actually feel somewhat more safe split pushing up, but he needs to have a TP scroll on his person all the time then. And now it seems like the radiance, the relic, should be completed after this one camp, plus a little bit more. S4 very close to the Yule Scepter, is considering going in. They've got the TPs, they've got the coil, they've got the summons, they've got everything they need, but Biryu's trying to throw a spanner in the works with a nicely timed snowball. They're gonna avoid everything, and in the meanwhile Shadow Fiend is attempting to back off. He's got a lot of movement speed with those Sanj and Yashas, but Resolution with a Melt Strike should be able to finish him off. Doesn't even need it. The Waning Rift from the Puck does the job. And now here they go, on to Gork, who has got the relic and an Invis rune. will keep him alive even though there is a sentry ward nearby. They don't want to pursue up. No till. Is backing away, and Bambo is feeling a bit good about that, flexing his muscles, making all of the bugs back off. Night Stalker's pretty shredded, man. Night Stalker's pretty shredded. Okay, S4 catches out Gork. There's a slow from the Psionic. Oh dear, Psionic traps. And that's Gork going down. They just don't have anything they can do right now. They're being demolished across the map, and soon afterwards, Bambo should be. Okay. There's very little to say about this game right now. They really need Cancel to do something on the Shadow Fiend. Just step up somehow or the other. But he's got no way of initiating. He doesn't have a Yule Scepter. He doesn't have a Shadow Blade. He's gone for the tankier build of the Sanj and Yasha, which is understandable in its entirety. S4 catches him out again. Cancel just having to get so aggressive to try and get farm. And as a result of that, he's getting punished constantly. Can't even get up towards full souls right now. And Night Stalker, well, he backs off. And Resolution all in the meanwhile while they're taking down the Shadow Fiend. Oh my goodness, Resolution blinking forward. Melt Strike almost takes down Biryu on his own. Big Daddy Noto will be able to finish him off with one Geminate attack. They take down one lane of Raxes, and there's nothing to stop them from taking even more. 30 seconds till the Shadow Fiend comes back, and just now he manages to get enough money to be able to afford a buyback, but he doesn't even have half of his full souls. How much damage is Cancel even going to be able to bring in that scenario? Resolution. Now nighttime does come through. Night Stalker will be coming in from behind, but look at how Jerax has positioned himself. He wants to make sure that if anyone goes down, it should be him, but even he's hard to take down. His Urn makes him very tanky. Moving forward, they've got the vision, they've got everything they need. Finger comes through onto Jerax. Earth Splitter is going to be there on the back lines. Catches out Biryu as well. Gork has gotten 2 kills so far. It's trying to rip into Big Daddy No-Tail, but Rezo shoots him down from half HP. Cancel's doing what he can, but what he can do doesn't seem to be enough, as he's being traded off as well for only 2 kills. GG is called. They don't have buyback on Cancel. Game will not be coming around for about an hour and 20 minutes. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of very, very short games on our hand.